This is Adam Quiney, and today I'm going to talk a little bit about blind spots and the question, why would I need a coach? I just want to start by saying that's a totally valid question. Why would I need a coach? I read books. I'm committed to my own personal growth. I've been to workshops. I've done all this work. Well, maybe you haven't done all this work, but like you read, you invest your time in learning about yourself. Why would you need a coach? And if we sort of soften that question, maybe it's really like, how can a coach really help me? That's really what's underneath that. They're just the same questions spoken differently. Why would I need a coach? Why would I ever consider hiring you? How can a coach help me? And so the way I want to start or bring this forward is to speak about our blind spot. Our blind spot is this thing that sits in front of our vision. It blocks what we can see, what sort of gets through our filters. Now, typically, to us, our blind spot's not as obtrusive as this. When I put these glasses on with just one lens, to me it's immediately obvious that I can't see certain things with my right eye that I can see with my left eye. However, our blind spot often is, it's almost as visible in this way. Certainly to a coach, less so to other people, because other people are wearing these same kind of glasses. And so the way the blind spot kind of works is, first of all, we develop this growing up, this blind spot right here, and it is part of the fabric of what we see through. So our blind spot, the kind of blind spot I'm talking about, we're not aware that we're wearing these glasses. It's just the way the world looks. The way the world appears to me is through these lenses. I don't even realize I'm wearing glasses. They're just a part of it. And so people that are genuinely, they're very genuine in their desire to grow, and they're very committed in their desire to grow, and they go out and they read books and they do all this sort of stuff, but they never really work with a powerful coach. What they're doing is basically they take books such as this one, and I will say that this book right here, Straight Line Leadership by Dusan Jukic, this is one of the most powerful books ever written on leadership. I recommend you just Google search Straight Line Leaderships and find his website. You can read an ebook of this for free. It's brilliant. But so, save ever doing any work where I'm working with a coach, what's going to happen is I'm going to take this brilliant book on leadership and I'm going to open it and I'm going to start to read it. And I'm going to be like, wow, this is so good, so good. And the problem is that I'm reading this book in front of me, but I haven't really done the work with someone outside of me to distinguish it. And so every page that I read through this blinkered lens right here. I look at this and I read it through my blind spot. The blind spot is what impacts what can get through and what we reject subconsciously. And so as I'm reading this, I might read something about, owner versus victim. You don't get to have a powerful life for free. You have to create it. And part of my blind spot might be that I don't have the ability to relate to when I show up as a victim. And so I read this and I think, owner versus victim. Well, that's really powerful. I know a whole bunch of people that should read this. It would really benefit them. Yes. And then I read this section on owner-victim training and how it works. And I really identify with the owner part. I really sort of absorb it and I'm like, wow, that's really good. Powerful stuff. Good book. Thanks for the recommendation, Adam. The trouble is that because I have my blind spot on, I can't see how this really applies in a deeper sense to me. My blind spot prevents that. I can only see the stuff that I see outside of my blind spot. Everything that falls in here is invisible to me. And this is why working with a coach is powerful. This is why people that work with a coach have a tendency to grow in ways that is not possible without a coach. Is because a coach is someone outside of you that can take these glasses off and actually say, hey, take a look at this. Like, I noticed that there's a lens. There's something that blocks your ability to see the world. And the human response is we go, no, there isn't. What are you talking about? And we fight them. And then they just, sometimes I coach, sometimes I'll work with someone and I'll say, okay, no worries. And we'll just let that be. But over time, I'm going to keep pulling those off my clients' heads, just like my client does with, or my coach does with me. And I'm going to say, hey, look, I just noticed that you keep bumping into this thing. You keep not seeing this right here. And I got to ask, like, how's that working out for you? So that's one of the real powers of coaching, is that we've got someone who's doing their own work that can kind of pull those lenses off and just point to us, and has the generosity to let us put them back on. To say, okay, got it. You're not willing to take those glasses off. Because as a human, often we're not. These glasses serve us. Maybe growing up, we learned that our right eye was simply too sensitive to light. It was simply too sensitive, to something really bright and powerful. And, this is really a metaphor. Perhaps you grew up and your heart was too deep. You felt things too much. You were just someone who naturally had the capacity of love. And as a result, you just felt heartbreak too deeply. And so you learned to put on a pair of glasses that let you not see things as deeply. It was a strategy you created to allow yourself to survive. Because growing up with being a young, small person with a huge heart, it's painful. Especially if the adults around you aren't equipped to deal with that, or have their own blind spot that they've learned. Oh, no, the way you deal with that problem is you just put it in here. Get yourself one of these, and you won't have to deal with the problem of feeling that degree of pain. And so that's one of the places we get stuck, and where a coach can really benefit us. A lot of people often ask, well, what about... why don't I just work, I'll just have these deep, powerful conversations with our friends? The problem is that our friends are wearing glasses too. They're human too. They naturally have a blind spot. They naturally have a place of their own. And some of your friends, I'm not going to take the lens out and switch it, but some of your friends, their lens is on this eye, and they might actually be able to support you and help you. Maybe. But the trouble is that we're not really looking for our friends to be powerful and bold with us and to say the thing that's going to end the friendship. We're looking for our friends to please us. We're looking for them to be our friends, not to be our coach. It's a completely different relationship. And the other problem is that we tend to draw and bring in people to us that mimic the way we believe the world works and should be. So we tend to draw friends that have the similar blind spot to us. And so they're not going to be able to see our blind spot. And further, we're going to reject those people that have the lens on the other side, that have a different kind of point of view. We're going to say, oh, their head's in the clouds. They just don't have realism. Or, oh, they're just so structured in rules and reality. They don't have an ability to dream and to vision things. I'm not saying that coaches are free of these glasses completely. What I'm saying is that coaches are people that are committed to continually pulling these glasses off. And, some days I can take these glasses off for about 30 seconds. And then I aggressively put them back on so I can kind of take a breath, because it's painful having myself fully able to see the brightness, fully present to everything that's out there without my blind spot. And some days we take them off for a week. What coaches do is we work with our own coach. We do our own work regularly so that we can fully show up and we can fully point to the blind spot that people have. Even if it's scary, even if it's challenging for us, even if we're worried that person over there might get upset or hate us or something like that. So that's the power of coaching. The power of coaching is it frees us from reading the most powerful books ever written on leadership and still only confirming what we already know to believe. Coaching does the thing that no book can ever do. It actually takes these glasses off of our face completely for a time, regularly, in certain situations, and then we can go and read this book with a completely fresh set of eyes. And that's where real transformation occurs. It doesn't matter how many movies, videos, how many people you talk to, how committed you are to going out into the world and having difficult conversations, how many of these sort of books you read, how much you do that feels uncomfortable. If you don't have someone there that's able to point to your glasses, it's all going to get filtered through this. Not because you're broken, not because you're not a completely capable individual, but just because you're human. And having this pair of glasses is part of what it means to be a human. That's the magic of coaching. I'm not saying it's comfortable. I'm not saying it feels good to have these glasses pointed out to you, but that's the gift that it offers. Take care.